very happy good morning, dear students. I hope you all are doing good and fine. So, in today's lecture, we'll be dealing with unit number one, that is new religious ideas and movements. What is the unit number one? New religious ideas and movements. So, let's see what the topic that I'm going to cover. Let's see the topic. Okay, students. So the topics are the subdivision number three, Sufism and India. Subdivision number four, that is A part, Kabir, and the B part is Guru Nanak. And the subdivision number five, impact of religious or Bhakti movements. So as we all know what is Bhakti movement, because we all read in the subdivision number one and two. So students, let's proceed ahead. So students, let's revise what is new religious ideas and movement and what is Bhakti movement. So students, what is new religious ideas? So as we all know, let's revise once again. So religion is an entire collection of beliefs, right? Value that practice a group hold to be true. That every religion we have some methods of praying to God, that is practice, belief, we value to that. So every religion have a method. So what are the religions if you see? Christianity, Hinduism, Muslim, and many more. No? So each one of us has a method to practice, right? So some example of religious belief will be like the belief of some Christians that they should wear a cross. We have seen it. People wearing cross, Christian people. It's their symbol of belief, of faith. In Islam, have you seen people wearing burqa over their body? Women they wear. So every individual have method of praying towards gods. Their dressing sense, their everything differ from each other. Each religion differ from each other. Okay. So what is Bhakti movement, students? So as you all know, what is Bhakti movement? Bhakti movement was a revolution started by Hindu saints to bring a religious reform by adopting method of devotion to achieve salvation. So students, let's go into our topic that I'm going to cover. So students, that is introduction of Sufism. Let's see what is the definition. What does Sufism means? So Sufism is a traditional with Islam that focuses on the inner search for the divine. Much like many Hindu yoga traditional, it is often referred to as a Islamic mysticism. So student, the Sufism movement. The Sufism movement is a religious movement which arose from Islam in 8th to 9th century AD. So it is a follower seek to find truth, love through the direct encounter with God. So the name Sufism is associated with the crow's wool garments that Sufi saints wore as a mark of their rejection, worldly things. So have you seen Sufism people? I'll show you the people how they look. So this is how the Sufism people look. They wear a woolen white dress. So as you can see from the pic, some group of people they're discussing about their god, worship, the methods. So this is how the people of Sufism they look. Okay, as you all can see from the picture. So students, let's proceed ahead. Uh, let's read about the Sufism in India. So the advent of Sufis to India dates back to the Arab quest of Sindh. It gained promises in the 10th and 11th century during the reign of Delhi Sultan. Sufism adopted many native Indian concepts such as yogi posture, music, and dance. Sufism found a variant among people, Muslims, and Hindu. So Sufism in India, they came in the early medieval, as you all know, period which spite of principle of universal brotherhood could not associate it with Hindu. Okay, so two different set of people continue to grow by day. At this time of the mutual hatred, hostility, there was a group of religion thinkers who awakened the people about God and religion. They did everything to establish brotherhood between the Hindu and Muslim. Who did this? Sufism people wanted to bring brotherhood relationship between Hindu and Muslim. That's also they were called as Sufi saints. Okay, students, let's proceed. So students, as we are discussing about the Sufism people, now let us read about the two prominent persons in this Bhakti movement, that is Saint Kabir and Guru Nanak. So students, Guru Nanak and Saint Kabir were the two prominent persons in this Bhakti movement, and they had a big contribution to the movement. That is big contribution they had in this movement. So students, let us read about the Kabir. Kabir, he grew up in a family of Muslim weaver before becoming a disciple of Hindu priest. Kabir is considered both Sufism and Brahmin saint. He opposed discrimination on the basis of caste, wealth, and many more. And if you say Kabir's contribution to the Bhakti movement, Kabir laid a stress on the religious tolerance and taught a lesson of brotherhood to Muslim and Hindu people. Kabir raised his voice against the custom of sati, child marriage, and the two evil practices which purely he demolished. He wanted to demolish these two things, that is evil custom, that is sati and child marriage. Okay, so now let us read about the Guru Nanak, a second prominent person in the Bhakti movement. So, as you all can see from the picture, there's a Guru Nanak Ji sitting on the mat, and his wonderful Gurudwara, that is Guru Granth Sahib Kartarpur. As you all can see from the picture, how beautifully it has been shown, right? So let us read about him. Guru Nanak, born in village near Lahore, that is 1469, showed interest in religious discussion with other saints right from his childhood. His parents were keen to involve him in worldly life, but he was inclined toward spiritualism. He visited many holy places, finally settled in Kartarpur near Lahore, that is in Pakistan. So students, the contribution if you see of Sri Nanak Ji to the Bhakti movement, he Guru Nanak Ji developed a crucial role in Bhakti movement. Sufism and Bhakti contributed to Nanak's religious philosophy. He discarded many elements like selfishness, hypocrisy, falsehood, and violence of Hindu and Islam. His teaching incorporated the noblest principle of both religions. According to him, God is omnipresent, and through love, devotion, purity of soul, everyone can attain God's grace. In his opinion, in order to link oneness to eternity, and one must do good and virtuous to get internal liberation and from bondage of world. So moral conduct and action on the moral value are his core teachings. Okay, so see, as you all can see, his spiritual activism, how he was totally dedicated to the spiritual world. So how nice it is, no? Like people are away from the violence and everything. These people they were very important because they were totally like engaged in such activities, that is spiritual and many more. So students, Guru Nanak teachings, that is five teaching. What are they? Five teaching. Khalsa member, that is five important Khalsa member. As you all can see, Kirpan, that is a knife, and that Kara, the round shape. As you all can see from the picture, also have shown a real pictures along with the main theme. So the first one is Kirpan, that is knife. The second one is Kada, the hand which we wear. That those people were people of Guru Nanak's religions, that is Punjabi peoples. So Kirpan, Kesh, Kada. Kesh is above the head. The you can see the picture down. So Kangha, that is comb. Kachera, that is a trouser type they were. Have you all seen it? Yes. So these were the five important Khalsa members. So let us read about Khalsa thing. In Sikhism, the five Ks are five items that Guru Gobind Singh Ji in 1699 commanded Khalsa Sikh to wear all at all times. At all times. They are Kesh, as you all seen Kesh, that is hair. So, unshorn hair and braids since the Sikh decided to keep it. Kanga, a comb for the kesh, that is hair, usually a wooden they wear. Wooden from that they comb their hair. Okay, so Kara, that is bracelet, usually made of iron, steel, but sometimes gold also it is. So Kachera, a white undergarment, and the kirpan, a small. So, and the last one is kirpan, a small curved sword of any shape, any size and shape. So, students, thus both Kabir and Guru Nanak was a significant figure and played an important role in Bhakti movement through their teaching and creation. Both helped in Bhakti traditional to reach masses in their language and allowed to spread of Bhakti movement in various parts of nation. Okay, let us proceed to the next topic, that is the last one, impact of religious and Bhakti movement. Okay, students, now let us now go into the deeper. What happened in Bhakti movement? I'll just summarize, okay? So the Bhakti movement was a revolution started by the Hindu saint to bring a religious reform by adapting the method of devotion to achieve salvation, as you all know already this. So this movement resulted in various rites by practicing rituals of devotion among Hindu, Muslim and Sikh in the Indian subcontinent. Their method of expression was to sing devotional composition in temple, gurudwara and masjids. The way of bhakti movement started from the South India, as you all know. They traveled to various places singing hymns in Tamil praises of their god. Later, many temples were built that became pilgrims. Okay, the composition by the poet saint become a part of temple ritual in this sense. Some historians also believed that the Alawas initiated a movement of protest against the caste system and dominance of Brahmins and at least attempt to reform the system. So students, let us read one by one the points. The Bhakti movement was a movement of common people. It used the language of common people for their devotional literature. The movement opened up by space Indian language to grow. Tamil was only an Asian Indian language, remained vibrant during this period, and this caste and socialist poetry came into to be criticized. Okay, so students, I hope you have understood, but still you have to read your textbook and mark the important thing that is you should always remember. You should keep in mind. So just underline those things and keep it aside. If you don't understand, just write it down, but read twice and thrice so that it will remain in your mind what you have learned till now. So students, if you have any doubt, we can clarify in the next lecture. Okay? And thank you for listening, students. I hope you will be doing your work, the work that I gave you now. So students, take care, be safe. We'll meet in the next lecture. Okay? Thank you, students.